Three, two, one, action. Welcome back to As Seen on Screen. I'm Nicole Soroka, and this is your source for all things entertainment news, reviews, conversations, and more. You can find us on Spotify and YouTube. Well, welcome back to another episode of the show. I'm so happy you're here, and I'm even more excited to share my full review of Marty Supreme with you today. Thanks to Elevation Pictures, I was lucky enough to see the film a few weeks ago, and I've been so excited to chat with all of you and share my thoughts and spoiler-free review. Now, my short review is yes, this movie is exactly as great as you've been hearing it is. Timothée Chalamet is fantastic. It's great to see Gwyneth Paltrow back on the screen. Personally, I loved Odessa Zion in this film. There are so many great pieces to talk about, but this is a must-see on the big screen. I'm so excited for audiences to finally be able to see it on Christmas Day, but this is just such a fun movie to see in the theater. It's very fast-paced, very high energy. It's unpredictable at best. You can't tell where this movie is gonna go from scene to scene. So there's tons to talk about, and let's dive in. Now, if you've somehow managed to dodge all of the promotion for this film and have no idea what this movie is about, Marty Supreme follows Marty Mauser, portrayed by Timothée Chalamet, a young man with a dream no one respects, who goes to hell and back in pursuit of greatness. Now, Marty is a table tennis champion. He is very invested in the sport, but nobody exactly sees his vision. No one respects his goals and ambitions. Marty travels to table tennis championships, where he eventually ends up meeting his arch rival, Koto Endo. Now, throughout this movie, Marty is also navigating a number of personal issues with his mother, his friends, and people that we'll call acquaintances that he meets along the way. I mentioned that Timothée Chalamet portrays Marty Mauser. In the supporting cast, we have Gwyneth Paltrow making her return to the big screen as Kay Stone. She is a wealthy, retired actress who forms this romantic connection with Marty while he's away in Europe. We also have Odessa Zion as Rachel Misler. She is Marty's childhood best friend. Next up is Tyler Okoma, also known professionally as Tyler the Creator. He portrays Wally, who is a taxi driver and another one of Marty's friends. Kevin O'Leary is Milton Rockwell. He is married to Kay Stone in this film and also has more of a business side relationship with Marty. Abel Ferreira as Ezra Mishkin, which I don't want to say too much about his character because I found that knowing as less as possible about some of these characters made for an even better watch. One of my favorite scenes in the film is actually when we are introduced to Ezra Mishkin. It's Wally and Marty going into a hotel and they first meet Ezra, and it just escalates from 0 to 100 so quickly. Who you originally think Ezra is such a different individual that we see from that moment for the rest of the film. I won't give anything away because I want you to be as surprised as I was watching it, but I hope you enjoyed that scene as much as I did because I thought it was hilarious and so absurd at the same time. We also have Koto Kawaguchi, who portrays Koto Endo, who I just mentioned is Marty's arch nemesis in the table tennis world. I actually found out in real life, Koto is an award-winning national table tennis champion, which I thought was very cool. The film is directed and co-written by Josh Safdie of the Safdie brothers. You might know his previous work like Uncut Gems, Funny Pages, and Good Time. Now, Mighty Supreme does have quite a lengthy runtime. It is 2.5 hours long. So, good news, if you're heading there on Christmas Day, you don't need many plans for the rest of your day because the film has got you covered. Now, the film is also loosely based on another American table tennis player, Marty Briesman. Now, one of the immediate standouts to me for this film is how it looked visually. It truly catapults you straight into 1950s New York City. I thought it was stunning. I love the cinematography. I looked into it. Josh filmed on 35mm Arriflex cameras in vintage anamorphic lenses. The film is set specifically in 1952. Throughout the film, Marty visits a number of cities. He goes to London, he goes to Tokyo, he goes to Los Angeles, and a few more cities all over the world. But specifically, I really loved how they transported us as an audience straight into 1950s New York City. I think the whole filmmaking team did a great job of making that feel realistic to us with the grainy look of the screen. I thought it just looked phenomenal and really truly helped me get into the story even further. The energy for this film is constantly at an 11 out of 10. It is extremely fast-paced. The film moves at lightning speed for the entire duration of the movie. I mentioned earlier that I feel like there's so many twists and turns, unpredictable takes that this movie goes with, whether it be the relationships that Marty has, the trouble he gets into, these table tennis championships. There was a lot fit into 2.5 hours, which I feel like if you hadn't seen the movie already, you'd think 2.5 hours is a lot of time already. You can fit a lot into 2.5 hours. But truly, every time I think about it, all the little plots, there is a lot going on in this movie, and there's a lot to take in, but it's never an overwhelming amount. Even though this movie is moving at such a fast pace with high energy, it never gets lost upon you. You're able easily to keep up with what's happening, what Marty's doing, and it doesn't get lost on you in this 2.5 hours. Now, we can't do a Marty Supreme review without talking about the fantastic cast in this film. Of course, we're starting off with Timothy Chalamet. Marty Mauser is such an arrogant character. He thinks very irrationally at all times. He has this very win at all costs mentality. He doesn't accept no as an answer. He's never taking it that as an option, and he talks very, very quickly, which fits very well with his high energy. I almost found myself in this funny position that I hated and admired Marty all at the same time. I kind of felt bad for the people in his life that he was dragging into these situations with. He was almost taking people down with him. But at the end of the day, I really do think that Marty has a good heart. I truly think that Timothy portrayed Marty perfectly. I loved his performance. I believe that we're meant to hate and love Marty all at the same time, and Timothy does a fantastic job of portraying this character who you admire for wanting to reach his goals. You admire him for dreaming big and wanting to reach all these crazy ambitions that he has for himself, his career, but at the same time, you hate how he's treating the people around him in his life, and it's hard to depict. Do you love Marty or do you hate him? Now, looking back at this past year's SAG Awards, Timothy Chalamet gave a fantastic speech about wanting to be one of the greats. And I think Timothy is honestly undeniably on that track. You think about the career that Timothy has already had. We've seen him in Beautiful Boy, Call Me by Your Name, Little Women, the Dune movies, Wonka, A Complete Unknown, and now Marty Supreme. And there has never been a performance of Timothy's that I didn't love. And truly, most of those I would say I was very captivated by. Beautiful Boy is such a striking movie. Call Me by Your Name truly sticks with you. The Doom movies, he's fantastic. Obviously, it's a bit of a different genre we're dealing with. A Complete Unknown, I loved last year. I've talked about on this podcast before how I've really grown to love musical biopics, and Timothy Chalamet did such a fantastic job as Bob Dylan. And Marty Supreme fits right into this category of other fantastic performances by Timothy. I'd say that this is probably my favorite, my new favorite of Timothy's, so I cannot wait to continue seeing what Timothy does in his career on this pursuit of greatness that he's on, because I think that is very much underway for him. Now, the other standout in this film for me was Odessa Zion. Like I mentioned previously, she portrays Marty's childhood best friend, and there's a whole number of issues that her character creates for Marty and that Marty creates for her. I feel like they equally balanced each other out in that way. They were both very messy, they had very detrimental effects in the lives of each other, changed each other's lives significantly, but I loved Odessa's portrayal of Rachel. I think she did such a fantastic job. She had such emotionality, such depth to this character. Every time she was on screen, I was fully drawn in, and every time she wasn't on screen, I was waiting for her to come back and to see what her character would do next. She truly captivated me in this film. She had my full attention, and she's another actress that I cannot wait to continue seeing what she does next because she is so fantastic on screen. Also in the supporting cast for this film, we have Gwyneth Paltrow and Kevin O'Leary. This is Gwyneth Paltrow's first return to the big screen since 2019 with Avengers Endgame. She's had smaller credits like a voice role in She Said, and some other TV shows and projects like that, but this is her first real return to acting since 2019, which is very exciting to see. We also have Kevin O'Leary, who's the infamous Canadian businessman, Dragon's Den, many other projects of that nature. Their characters, Kay and Milton, are married to each other in the film, but they have very different relationships with Marty in the film, and Marty has very different intentions with both of their characters. Milton is a businessman in the film who kind of takes a liking to table tennis after seeing Marty engage in the game, and what starts off as a positive business relationship between the two kind of skyrockets into something that I don't necessarily know Marty anticipated. Kay, on the other hand, like I mentioned, is a retired actress. She's somewhat trying to get back into the scene, and she has this romantic relationship we see form with her and Marty. I've spoke about this a few times during this review now, but one of the reasons I cannot wait to get back into the theaters to see Marty Supreme when it comes out on Christmas Day is how unexpected this film is. Each scene, there are so many twists and turns that you do not anticipate from Marty, so many issues that he gets himself into, so many unexpected sequences that we see. It is just so high energy. It is so frustrating. It is so exciting to see it all unfold on the big screen. I think for me, the most memorable moment of this film are actually the final about 10-15 minutes of the film. I won't spoil it for you, I'm not going into any specifics, but I think it truly puts Timothy's emotional range for Marty on full display in this film. For the entire, let's say, 2 hours and 15 minutes leading up to that point, Marty is bouncing from one place to the next. He never stops. He is truly going after his dreams with full force, which is both admiring and frustrating for viewers to watch unfold. I think Marty Supreme truly has something for any movie lover to enjoy. Of course, on the surface, you'd think it's a sports drama comedy, but there's also tons of aspects of romance, of crime, of action, and adventure. There are so many unexpected moments in this film that I think any movie lover is going to enjoy. I also need to bring up the marketing plan for this entire film because it has been phenomenal to watch it unfold online. Whether you've seen pictures or videos of blimps in the sky, of famous individuals such as Tom Brady, Kid Cudi, Misty Copeland, Bill Nye, wearing those fantastic Marty Supreme jackets. You've seen Timothy Chalamet as Marty on a Wheaties box. They've gone on late night shows, a ton of press stops in Los Angeles, New York, Brazil. Truly, they have been all over the place in doing the absolute highest level of marketing for this film, and I think it is so going to pay off for them. It is such a topic of conversation in the media right now, as it should be, and I think they're doing such a phenomenal job of creating this fun, unique marketing scheme for such a fun, unique film. If I haven't made it clear enough, I loved Marty Supreme. I urge everyone to go see it on Christmas Day when it hits theaters. This is just such a unique, fun sports, drama, comedy film that I think has a little piece of something for everyone to enjoy. I also just want to give a thank you to Elevation Pictures again for giving me this opportunity. Well, that brings me to the end of today's review of Marty Supreme. If you're still here, thank you so much for sticking around and hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed Marty Supreme as much as I did, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts once you see the film. That's everything I have for today's episode of As Seen on Screen. I'm Nicole, and you can find us on YouTube and Spotify. I'll be back with more entertainment news, reviews, and conversations shortly, but until then, happy holidays!